Oh my soul, there's an old worm on there. I hadn't seen one of them all summer. Gotcha. Well, good morning, folks. I'm Steve Brown. I thought it was about time I might give an update on our little White Rock homestead, our little 2-acre homestead here in the woods, central Arkansas, west of Little Rock. It's been a few weeks since I put out a YouTube. This morning I thought it's about time to give a little update on what's going on around here on the homestead. We've canned quite a few vegetables in the last few weeks, thanks to our little raised beds and friends that gave us some vegetables to can. Boy, how appreciative we are of that. It is always nice when friends bring vegetables to you. It is such a thrill to get to can and preserve and get ready for the hard times and the winter time with the vegetables. We'll do a little walk around and show you how my little raised beds are progressing. Some of them doing good and some of them not so good. So bear with me as I make a trip around the homestead. Well, this is primarily our squash bed. I see one down there, just probably ought to pick that thing. Blooms galore, bees working. Oh, I've had an awful time with this plant right here. There's 3 plants here, and this third one, the powdery mildew, I thought had killed it. And I just kept cutting off the bad leaves, and all of a sudden, I don't know, a week ago, this thing just came to life, and look at the blooms today. Squash on it, ready to eat. I keep trying to get rid of those powdery mildew leaves. Oh, I see one down in there that's got powdery mildew on it. I better get rid of it. It'll spread like wildfire. I do wish somebody would tell me that dill is done bolted, and I can probably save those seeds here in another week. Oh, here's a bad leaf and a bad leaf and a bad leaf. Oh my soul. I don't know what's going on here. I've never seen a leaf wilt quite like that. The plant looks healthy, and all of a sudden I got leaves that's wilting. I better get rid of all of that. Something's wrong. Hate to see that because it's just full of blooms and little baby squash. Anyhow, we have eaten a lot of squash. Oh, these marigolds are just outdoing themselves over here. Well, these 3 beds are still producing. I got a whole bunch of okra off of these plants this morning early. Got 2 big old nice cucumbers that I'll put in a pickle jar and ferment them the next few days. Got some fresh okra coming on, new blooms. We're doing good with these few. What have I got, a 5-6 foot row of okra? And about every 3 days we'll get a mess off of it for Mary and I. We're gonna try something new, this okra this evening. I'm going to try to roast it in the oven. Maybe I'll do a video update on that a little later. Got a whole mess of beans off of these bean plants this morning, but these bugs. Oh, he like to got me. I'd like to get him. Well, there's lots of blooms. I water it every evening. Why does these leaves turn yellow? I guess these 90+ degree days. Oh, and these loofah gourds, my soul, aren't they beautiful? Taking over, going out in the woods. Goodness gracious. I got my biggest tomato off this plant yesterday morning, 1 pound and 3 ounces. Wow. I don't know, about lost control of these tomato plants. Planted a little old sucker right there, and it's 3 or 4 feet tall now. Just come from a sucker stuck down in the ground and watered it, and there's a tomato on it. Man, I never thought about planting a sucker till Jessica up at Roots and Refuge Farm in Valonia told us about that a while back. Planted some dragon tongue beans in here. Got a few loofah's gourds growing in here. Man, that's the most healthy plant on the whole homestead. Goodness sakes alive, that thing is beautiful. Well, here we are, the blueberry patch. Blueberries looking good. It's not growing as much as I had hoped they would this summer. Little baby squash down in there. Uh-oh. This has a powdery mildew leaf. Oh my soul, and there's an old worm on there. I hadn't seen one of them all summer. Gotcha. Cut you in half. That is not a good sign. Get rid of these leaves. It's looking bad, but my soul, look at all the blooms down in there. We've eaten several squash off of that plant. Got 2 tomatoes here. Be ready in another 2 or 3 days. Got some new blooms there. See if we can pollinate them. That tomato plant, the seed went in a little pot last, I don't know, February. And that plant has just not grown like it ought to. Like all the rest of them. The rest of them just gone crazy. Oh, there's a squash down in there ready to eat. Lots of blooms. There's a leaf need to come off. Goodness gracious. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 baby squash on that plant. Wow. And one of them down there is ready to eat. My dragon tongue beans I planted last week has really come to life. There's another squash over here I believe we could eat this evening. Yeah, I think we'll have to have squash for supper tonight. Thank you, Lord, for squash. Get rid of this bad leaf. There too. Yep, blueberry patch is not looking bad. And put this sprinkler system in here. Drip sprinkler last week. Comes on every evening about 5:36. Got it set for an hour. I see evidence it's been dripping. Trying to keep from spraying water on these squash leaves. That may have something to do with powdery mildew. I don't know yet. I'm here in the pumpkin patch, checking things out. That one vine there must be 15, 18 feet long. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 blooms on that thing, and every single one of them is a male bloom. Not one female bloom on that whole plant. And this plant, about 10 feet long, got some blooms on it. And wouldn't you know it, they're all male blooms. I don't know. Surely, Lord, give us a female bloom here so we can have a pumpkin this fall. We'd like to have at least 1 or 2 pumpkins off of this patch. Got a sunflower growing over here. Got my worm bed down here. I try to feed the worms every week or 2. This sunflower spite of the squirrels and then the chipmunks and everything, look like it's going to survive. Maybe it'll have a flower before the summer's out. I had 4 sunflowers in here, and between the squirrels, the coons, they just tore them all up but that one. Oh, looky there. Them little flowers I planted is coming up. I just noticed that. Hadn't saw that till just now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Mary wanted them little flowers in here. I forgot what she called them. She said the hummingbirds love them. So we got lots of hummingbirds around here and we feed them. So this is supposed to attract them, besides it's supposed to be real pretty. Maybe we'll find out in a few weeks. Well, here's our sweet basil plant. Got 2 sweet basils down in here, and look like a new one is coming on from a seed or something down there. Thing keeps bolting. I was picking off the flowers, but the bees love these flowers, so I left them alone. That crazy squash bug. These bugs, got one good bug there, ladybug. Getting a lot of sweet basil off of this plant. Really looks good. We need to hydrate some of this for this winter. Well, Mary bought these 4 yellow sweet peppers back in the spring, and I had this old cracked pot. I stuck them in it, and we had 4 beautiful peppers off of this one plant. These other 3 plants, oh, look at there. Maybe I was about to speak wrong. There's some little baby peppers coming on. This is 4 different varieties, and that's a yellow bell. It's got some blooms and little baby peppers on it. This is my emerald giant green bell peppers, and I've not got any peppers off of this thing all summer, but I see a little baby right there and a few blooms trying to come on. The squirrels keep jumping up here and just ripping and tearing. I've lost several good leaves off of this plant because of the squirrels. Oh, look at there, some blooms down in there. This is Mary's canna, 2 cannas of bulbs and plants she bought in the spring. I had this top sawed off of my self-watering barrel, my pot that I made, and she thought this would be a good place to plant, so I put some super soil in here with some bone meal and blood meal and perlite, and here we are. If we could keep the squirrels and the chipmunks out of here, this thing would do pretty good. They have tore off leaves, broke this big one over twice. I got it tied up with strings, but here we go, new leaf shooting out there, and a new leaf shooting out here, and a new leaf there. And maybe there's hope. We may get blooms off of this before the summer's out. Well, this is my first bed that I planted last winter. Put that greenhouse top on it back there till hot weather hit, and I had to take it off and put this trellis on. These tomatoes I planted last, I guess, February, have just growed out the top. Seems so hopeless. Can't control them. I keep trying to pinch off these suckers. I got 4 suckers in here like Jess told me from Roots and Refuge Farm, and they're coming along wonderfully. I don't see any blooms yet, but they sure are growing. Who would have ever thought you could stick a sucker in the ground and grow tomatoes? I never, till she told us. I wished I had more room for tomatoes. I'd stick these suckers in it. Seems like I get suckers going every which way. These bad leaves don't look good. Oh. Get out of here. This old cucumber plant, this is a slicing cucumber. We've enjoyed quite a few cucumbers off of it. There's one to be ready to pick maybe tomorrow. Another little one there, little one there. So it's still bearing in spite of the dead leaves. This heat, I guess, is really taking its toll on here. I keep watering it. As long as it produces, I'll leave it. but it's probably nearing the end of its life cycle. So I've got 4 cucumbers coming on. Lots of tomatoes. I keep pollinating the flowers. There's blooms all over it. They tell me after 90 degrees they kind of quit blooming. The blooms fall off, but it seems like I'm still putting on tomatoes. Maybe it's because of these shade trees. I didn't really mean to put it in the shade. I thought the sun would come in here, but I was badly mistaken last winter when I built this bed. I didn't do good. Well, yesterday I cut the last vine off of this butternut squash. We got the whole sum total of 3 butternut squash off of this plant. It grew like crazy and bloomed like crazy, but I did not know how to hand pollinate till just a few weeks ago. Learned from the California gardener, and I started pollinating, and lo and behold, at least I got 3 butternuts out of it. I think I'll pull that vine out of there maybe today. I got some beta alpha cucumber seeds growing in the house. They're out on the porch hardening. And I think I'll stick 1 or 2 of them in this hole I dug last spring. Well, I hope you got something out of my little tour of the Little White Rock Homestead. We're growing a lot of stuff. These are Mary's flowers, rosemary, got some mint going crazy. We put that in our iced tea every day. Her flowers are really doing pretty. They're just beautiful. Well, if you enjoyed my little trip around the homestead, I hope you'll click the subscribe button. Click the little bell icon so you'll get notified when we put out a new YouTube video. Click the like button if you enjoyed my little tour. And come again. We enjoy having you around the home place, the little homestead, little 2-acre homestead. Don't forget, down in the description, there'll be a link to one of Mary's recent songs. She's a sweet girl, sings sweet music, beautiful music. And click on it and listen to one of her songs as she sings. And don't forget the old prophet Nahum. He said, "The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him." Nahum 1:7. Thank you for tuning in, and may God bless you.